Hey guys, Alexandra here, owner and founder of Vinok Personal Stylist, where we help good people look the part. If you've watched my channel, you know how much I love talking about fashion. I love talking about spending your money wisely on designer items that are going to last, or just good quality items that are going to last. Today, we're going to talk about 10 items I found on Amazon's Black Friday 2025 sale, which runs 20% off for pre-loved items from November 20th through the 27th. So you got to watch this quick. And strike while the iron's hot. Hope this helps. Let's get started. So the first thing we're going to be talking about today is one of my all-time favorites. It's a beautiful design by Hermès. It is called the Plume et Rayot scarf. It's made of silk. That translates to feathers and bells. And Hermès first introduced its iconic silk scarf in 1937. Each design requires up to 18 months of illustration, which is fascinating to me. Screen printing, hand finishing, all that in that 18-month period. So the designs are inspired by like an equestrian heritage, travel art, that sort of thing. So in my opinion, every scarf is actually more of a collectible piece of fashion history. But this one really stood out to me because I have a bit of a tie in that back in the 1800s, early 1900s, kind of pre-revolution, Russian Revolution, that is, pre-October 1917, there was this fascination with Petersburg, St. Petersburg, among Western Europeans of affluence. And so they would travel out to Russia, specifically often to St. Petersburg. They would go and they would see these beautiful Christmassy, snowy scenes with the horse-drawn carriages, which is what you see on that Hermès scarf depicted. And they would see the fur hats, and lo and behold, there it is on the Hermès scarf. And you would see these thick overcoats, pardon, and there it is on the scarf. And I just thought that was really, really cool, that this is an homage basically to a Russia of years past, a Russia that was ruled by the Tsar. So the second thing I would recommend from Amazon's sale, Black Friday week sale for 2025, is the Gucci large Abbey tote. Now Gucci was founded in Florence in 1921 and originally crafted like this leather luggage saddlery for the aristocrats, the travelers of some affluence, of some means. And the Abbey collection, which is what we have here, reflects Gucci's very early equestrian roots. That signature D-ring hardware that you're seeing on Gucci products, it's become such a recognizable detail, especially in the early 2000s, and that's kind of a harkening back to their history. So I just thought this was a beautiful bag. The third thing I'd recommend from this Amazon Black Friday week 2025 sale is the Loewe leather Anagram keychain. And by the way, I'm going to pronounce that one more time, Loewe. I have a cool trick to never forget that. I'll link that video below. It's very short. But Loewe is one of the oldest luxury houses in the world, but that's kind of a misnomer because for a long time, it was just like a craftsman's guild of leather artisans. It was founded in 1846 in Madrid, but they were more just, like I said, a bunch of guys who were good at what they did, and they got together and they decided we're going to just start making these things together. And it took a while for them to like fully establish as a luxury house. This anagram logo that you're seeing was designed in the 70s by a Spanish artist, Vicente Bella, and it's known as the Dancing L's. So it's representing craftsmanship, movement, heritage, all of the above. I'm such a fan of Loewe because they are truly experts at leather craftsmanship. Okay, the fourth thing I'm going to recommend from Amazon's Black Friday week sale is the Guccissima leather pouch. The term Guccissima basically translates to the most Gucci, as in if I were talking about you, Bella, I would say you are bellissima, you are the most beautiful. This is the Gucciest of Gucci. Guccissima. And it's a signature embossed monogram pattern introduced in 2006. The leather treatment made the logo very touchable, like tactile, like run your fingers over it, and durable, but also still maintains that very refined look. So it is the fidget spinner for rich people, maybe. The fifth thing I would recommend is the Louis Vuitton Abbey mirror bag charm. Why do I like it? Well, number one, don't we all want to know when our hair is completely out of place or we've got lipstick on our teeth or whatever? It happens to the best of us. But anyway, I just thought that this is a very muted, understated, which is kind of my jam, piece. Louis Vuitton introduced their Abbey leather line back in the mid-80s, 1980s. And it was inspired by a vintage Louis Vuitton travel trunk texture from the early 20th century. So we all know Louis Vuitton is known for its durability, its subtle luxury. It's very, even though you've got that logo pretty prevalent, it's still subtle because it's just repetitive, you know? So these Abbey leather pieces are often collected for their very unique color palettes and their sculptural finish. So this is no exception. I love this pale pink color. So the sixth thing I'd recommend we buy from the Amazon Prime Black Friday Week 2025 is the Prada Saffiano wallet. This one's pink. I just love it. There are other ones, by the way. This is just one example that I found on the site, but I love that pink color. So Mario Prada founded this brand in 1913. I've talked to you about Miuccia Prada before. She's the one who kind of like really propelled Prada up into fame. She came on the scene in like the mid 1970s, late 1970s. So when I think of Prada, I actually think of her more than I think of the founder Mario. But not to denigrate, you know, what it took for him to start a whole fashion house. Anyway, the signature Saffiano leather, it's cross-hatched, which I've talked about with other pieces before. It's prized for being very scratch-resistant, structured, timeless, all the good things, right? We want durability, we want that classy, elegant finish, and this is all of that in one, so I'm a huge fan. The seventh thing I'd recommend is we're going back to Gucci, back to the Guccissima line. This is a leather wallet. I just love the color. We talked about how Guccissima is just simply the Gucciest. It's the Italian word for like the most Gucci of the Gucci. It became one of this Guccissima pattern became one of Gucci's most defining modern motifs after the mid 2000s or so when it was launched, this motif. So it's got some, you know, healthy dose of contemporary minimalism, counterbalanced against this heritage branding. It remains a staple in Gucci accessories because of its subtle logo presence and its very long-lasting craftsmanship. So that is why the Guccissima is always a good bet. And I just love the color. If you've seen my other videos, I extol the virtues of having a wallet that does not match the inside liner of your purse, because you will save yourself a heart attack when you are no longer, you know, fumbling for a black wallet inside of a black lined purse. It's infuriating when you think you've lost your wallet. So you're not gonna lose this one. So the next thing I'd recommend, the eighth thing, is the Prada Saffiano zip around wallet. And again, ode to Miuccia Prada. This wallet is basically her in wallet form because it's very intellectual, I think, in its approach to fashion. Quiet luxury, clean. The texture is heat pressed into calfskin, so it's nearly indestructible, but it's also very, very elegant. And that's what you get when you're paying this much for a wallet. So it's durable, that's for sure. The ninth thing I'm going to recommend from Amazon's Black Friday Week 2025 is the Bottega Veneta Intrecciato wallet. If you've seen my recent video, you know that intrecciato means woven in Italian because it's got that cross-hatched, literally leather strips just like cross-woven over each other. That's their signature technique. It was developed in the 60s. The leather was too thin for structured bags, so they also had problems with like their machines not being able to sew that leather properly. So instead they're like, well, this is starting off as a limitation, but we're going to turn it into a blessing and into what's the phrase? It's a feature, not a bug. So rather than branding the exterior, because again, their leather was like very thin, the house adopted the motto, your own initials, like when your own initials are enough, as in people know who we are. We don't need to tell them, you know, we're famous because we're good at what we do. So that's Bottega Veneta, and I really, really like them. And the last thing I would recommend that you buy from Amazon's Black Friday week 2025 for under $1,000 is this gorgeous Louis Vuitton map silk scarf. You already know, if you've seen any of my videos, how much I harp on things like fabric. Silk is the top of the top when it comes to this kind of thing. But Louis Vuitton has been synonymous with global travel since its founding in the 1850s. Most of its silk scarf designs pay homage to like maps, travel, luggage, to vintage voyages type stuff. So these pieces are going to celebrate the golden age of exploration and the house's passport. Like, you're a citizen of the world if you're wearing this. So I think this would actually be a fabulous Christmas gift for somebody on your list who you can't really find in one place for more than a few months, and whose passport is maxed out more than their credit card. I think this would be a wonderful gift. So I hope this helped. Happy shopping, happy Thanksgiving. I'd be very interested if you could comment for me which of these items you like the best. Also, it would really help my channel grow and I could keep providing this kind of content if you would like, subscribe, comment, any of those things. They make such a huge difference. I am not monetized and I need to be in order to keep creating this kind of content. I hope it was helpful. I'm not sponsored, I'm just a fan of these products. So I just wanted to share with you some really cool background on these really awesome items. Happy Thanksgiving and happy shopping.